Hey guys, it's the MedStudier, and today we'll be looking at the anatomy of the brain. So in today's video we'll be covering the basics of brain anatomy, including their anatomical location, structure and divisions. Before we get started, I wanted to share a little bit more about Codex Anatomicus. If you're like me and love the art behind anatomy, then Codex Anatomicus is perfect for you. They provide some stunning, unique artwork and designs that really bring out the beauty in anatomy. From art prints to even badges, there's something for everyone. In particular, the artworks especially have been my favourite. Here I have the floral brain anatomy design. Firstly, one of the most distinguishing features of Codex Anatomicus is the use of colours and design. They have really brought out the beauty of anatomy through their subtle yet unique design. Currently, most artwork canvas products in their production are in the range of A5 to A3, which is a reasonable size range in order to showcase the product. In terms of price, as you can see, the prices are really affordable, presented with a high quality product. So follow the link in my description below at codexanatomy.com in order to see their full list of products. That's codexanatomy.com for more info. So let's start off by looking at the cerebrum. The cerebrum is present within our skulls, or also known as the bony cranium. So this is the main part of the brain that most of you will be familiar with. Now let's have a look at this in a bit more detail. There are two main tissue types within the cerebrum, the grey matter and the white matter. The grey matter is found at the edge of the brain. Most often, this is the part that's known as the cerebral cortex and is linked with cognition. So this part contains the nerve cell bodies. Whereas the white matter is found within the deeper tissues of the brain. It contains the axons of the nerves. The main function of the white matter is to provide a connection to the various grey matter. Looking at the brain superficially, there are two hemispheres, which is separated by a gap known as the longitudinal fissure. These hemispheres are split into further lobes, and each of these lobes have specific functions that we're constantly using. So most anteriorly, we have the frontal lobe, which is responsible for personality, mood, intellect, etc. Posterior to this is the parietal lobe, which has the function of controlling language. Most posteriorly is the occipital lobe. The primary visual cortex is present here, and hence this lobe is responsible for vision. On the lateral aspect of the cerebrum is the temporal lobe, which provides the function of controlling memory. The brain has a lot of depressions and elevations. These can be named as the sulci and the gyri. Some of the main sulci and gyri include the central sulcus between the frontal and parietal lobe, the lateral sulcus located laterally as it separates the frontal and parietal lobes from the temporal lobes, and the lunate sulcus, which is present on the occipital lobe. Understanding the locations of these sulci is important in order to identify the main gyri, which provide the key functions. For example, there are two gyri present proximal at the central sulcus. Anteriorly, this includes the precentral gyrus, which is also known as the primary motor cortex. This part of the brain controls voluntary movement. Posterior to the central sulcus is the postcentral gyrus, which is the somatosensory cortex. This structure receives and processes sensory information collected from the body. Finally, the superior temporal gyrus is responsible for the processing and recognition of sound. And that brings us to the end of this video. Hope you guys found it really useful. Please remember to like, subscribe and comment below. And follow me on Instagram at the MedStudier.